Stakeholders in the cocoa industry worried mining operations in cocoa farming communities could lead to further decline in cocoa production. Right, you're still live on News at 10 on TV3. We'll be looking at issues of national youth policy and the national coordinator of national youth, Ras Mubarak, promised speaking with us. We've been trying to reach him on the phone lines, and as and when we reach him, we'll be discussing issues of national interest with regards to the youth. But before then, let's move on and take a look at the cocoa industry. And stakeholders in the cocoa industry are worried mining operations in the cocoa farming communities could lead to further decline in cocoa production. And joining me in the studio are two people, professionals in the area of cocoa production, a gentleman and a lady. Here we have Vincent Frimpongman, who is Program Manager, West Africa, that is Solidaridad, and then he's also in charge of cocoa production in Ghana, my extreme left. And we also have Rita Usu Amankwa, who is National Coordinator, Ghana Cocoa Platform. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to News at 10.
Thank you very much.
First of all, let's take a look at the cocoa industry. What are some of the challenges bedeviling the industry? They say ladies first, so maybe I'll start with you.
Thank you very much. Cocoa sector has a lot of challenges. One of the challenges is low productivity. If you look at yield per hectare, Ghana is producing 400 kilograms per hectare, which is very low compared to Cote d'Ivoire, which is producing 600 kilograms per hectare. And also, if you still compare that to Indonesia, which is also producing 1,000 kilograms per hectare. So you could see that Ghana productivity is very low. And people claim that even it is the lowest in the world, which is not very good for the country. And we have also so many interventions going on in the sector, but we are not coordinating it. Every actor or stakeholder is doing his or her own activities without proper coordination. We have also farmers also have inadequate access to inputs, and that is also affecting the cocoa industry. So there are a lot of problems facing the cocoa industry that has led to the low productivity that Ghana is experiencing.
Right, so from the way you've been working, let me go to Vincent Frimpongman first. Again, you can add to that one, then we move on to take a look at the other aspects of the factors affecting production levels.
Yes, I think what I would add is that we have issues with sustainability generally. The way our farmers go about their cocoa activities, we think that they are not so sustainable, or they are using some unsustainable practices which needs some kind of remedial actions. Again, you would see that not many young people are into cocoa production, for instance, and also that becomes a sustainability issue because cocoa should be there. It is a very major income earner for this country. And therefore, once we are talking about sustainability issues, apart from the practices that we want farmers to adopt, we also have to ensure that young people actively take part in cocoa production. You also see that we have a lot of the farmers aging, not just the farmers aging, but also a lot of the farms themselves are also aging, and you have a lot of the cocoa trees not so productive. And we need to put in place measures to ensure that such unsustainable issues will be dealt with.
Right. Let's go back to the issue of coordination. You've talked about sustainability, young people not interested in going into cocoa farming, aging farmers, and even the farms themselves. How do we get to coordinate all these factors to ensure that young people, probably those who have studied agriculture in school, will be attracted to the industry and then apply best practices for better yields?
Yeah, that is why Cocoa Board and its partners has established Ghana Cocoa Platform. Cocoa Board, in collaboration with UNDP and industry partners, has established the Ghana Cocoa Platform to enhance coordination and enhance dialogue between the private sector and the public sector. You all know that cocoa, we have a lot of private sector actors in cocoa supply chain. And so if we are dealing with cocoa issues about cocoa, you cannot leave them, you cannot leave them out. And therefore, we need to bring everybody together. Cocoa Board cannot deal with these issues alone. For instance, you were talking about issues of mining, and we have the conference. We had a 2-day conference starting from yesterday, and farmers were complaining about how the mining sector, especially Galamsey, is destroying the farms, and therefore it's a threat to the cocoa industry. So if you look at some of these issues that you've mentioned, it means that Ghana Cocoa Board cannot deal with it alone, and it needs overall or combined efforts to enable us deal with the issue. And that is why the Ghana Cocoa Platform has been established to open that way to give the opportunity for all key stakeholders in the cocoa sector to come together, discuss issues, and find solutions to it.
Right.
So that is basically what we are doing, and effectively coordinate interventions in the cocoa sector, so that we have a common vision, we all have a common mission and objective, set ourselves some targets and be able to develop action plans, and so that concretely we put certain measures and activities and interventions in place to enable all of us, deal with these issues that we are talking about.
Right. Are we getting the necessary coordination from stakeholders, Vincent?
Yes, I would say yes and no. Already, I would say that the sector players are quite fragmented, and approaches are not well coordinated, as Rita mentioned. Within specific subsectors, you would say that there are some kind of cooperation, for instance, within the CSO subsector. But in terms of the generality of the cocoa sector, it's been quite challenging for Ghana Cocoa Board to really bring everybody on board to look into one direction. And that has been quite a challenge. And we believe from Solidaridad, where I work, because of that gap, we decided to start what we call National Cocoa Stakeholders Conference. And that has been a kind of a launching pad. And now we are very happy that the Ghana Cocoa Board has come up with this cocoa platform. And quickly we have decided to also join the platform and provide that support. And that is what we're looking for. All other sector players to come on board. If people are doing research findings, if people are implementing certain interventions that have generated some key lessons, we need to bring all these ideas and also resources to support the platform to make sure that we all work towards one direction and achieve sustainable cocoa sector for Ghana.
Right. So with all these things that you're doing, the stakeholders that you bring on board to have these discussions, are they happy about the attention government is giving?
Yes, if you were there yesterday and today, you would know that this looks like a big sigh of relief, and we hope that the platform itself would also be sustained, because people were beginning to get worried. And there are so many ideas, so many resources, but people keep dissipating them. And once we are now bringing all our ideas and resources into one basket to support the platform, people think that, yes, this perhaps could be one of the answers. Especially key within this whole process is the public-private partnership. That is going to be very instrumental. So the private sector companies, the NGOs, and then Ghana Cocoa Board itself and its allied agencies are all coming on board under the one umbrella. And we believe that should this effort continue for the next 3, 4, 5 years, a lot of things will change. Issues like child labor will be dealt with, the relationship it has with illegal logging and mining, and all these kind of sectoral issues would be actively discussed and researched into and then necessary remedial actions taken by the stakeholders.
Right. Illegal logging, illegal mining. Earlier, Rita talked about the issue of illegal mining, Galamsey destroying the lands. You know, there are sector organizations in here. You have the Minerals Commission, you have the Ghana Chamber of Commerce in there. How cooperative are they in terms of supporting the farmers, in terms of not encroaching on their lands and destroying them?
Yeah. We are trying to bring all of them on board. In fact, we have a steering committee, and we have membership from the Lands Commission, the Forestry Commission, and all that. The conference that we had yesterday and today, we had Chamber of Commerce coming in to present issues about how we can collaborate and all that. Mm-hmm. We are trying to bring everybody on board, and we need a sectorial, intersectorial cooperation and partnership to be able to deal with these issues. So these issues are very much going to be dealt with, and we know that all the other sectors, all the other ministries and commission and departments that are concerned or with these issues will come together, and together we can have. Today, I even had a talk with somebody from the Forestry Commission, and they were happy that this is coming up. You know, the Ghana Cocoa Platform is coming up, and they are ready to support them. In fact, they are part of the steering committee already. Mm-hmm. So we hope that we are going to have cooperation from all stakeholders, in public and private stakeholders, so that we can deal with these issues. We deal with the issues so that we have a better Ghana. We have our farmers can have a better livelihoods. So I think that nobody will, or no organization will just look unconcerned. We hope that everybody will come on board, and then we can work together on this.
Right. In all these matters, the quality of the farms that we are talking about, quality of trees and farmers, amounts to one thing, that is improved production. Mm-hmm. So are we getting the farmers to understand that they need to build their capacity, mm-hmm.
They need
to really rehash their farms to get the needed production levels that we require as a country? Because when you mentioned the figures, I don't want to describe it as shameful as compared to other countries, and looking at where we started from. Yeah. Maybe I'll take it with Vincent.
Yes, I think you've raised a very, very important issue when it comes to productivity. Yes, we pride ourselves in saying that Ghana is the second largest. Actually, some time ago, we were number one. Right. But then, most of the countries have overtaken us in terms of production per unit area, and therefore our productivity is low. Recently, I visited Indonesia, and if you visit their cocoa farms, you would see that they are quite experienced, and they are doing or going about their cocoa activities as if it is really a business. In Ghana,
but it is.
It is actually. But then in Ghana, our farmers approach cocoa as if it's a normal thing. It is not a business.
It's a secondary thing that you need to do.
Then, so we are trying as much as possible to provide a lot of information, capacity building, for them to know that they need to approach cocoa as a business. We are providing extension information to them, which is key, coming up with various innovations to make sure that new technologies are on board. We have some of the stakeholders like World Cocoa Foundation and other companies that are developing disease-resistant varieties, those that can also withstand drought and all that. So these are some of the interventions. Now, to make our cocoa more sustainable, we're also looking at what we call cocoa certification, which is also sustainable standards that are developed to make sure that there are certain code of conducts that we use some tools to train farmers for them to implement or go about their training and their production activities according to those requirements. And when they are able to do that, they are given some kind of acknowledgement that they have complied with those kind of set standards in terms of good agricultural practices, in terms of social issues. issues like child labor, making sure that children would go to school and then do some child work whilst they are not in school. Make sure that they comply with some environmental issues, plant shade trees so that we can also make sure that we regain our forest and all that. So these are some of the sustainability practices that we are trying to reach out to the farmers to make sure that they do not veer off and actually set up what we call quality management systems for the farmers. So farmers, even though they are on their own as smallholders, but we're trying to bring them together at community levels and provide extension information. And in that direction, Ghana Cocoa Board is doing so well through its CSSVDCU unit, where they have extension package, which is called Cocoa Extension Public-Private Partnership, which again, Solidaridad is part of that platform. And we're working with Ghana Cocoa Board to make sure that every district or community farmers over there have access to extension information so that they do not do business as usual, but see cocoa production as their enterprise, and they can make a lot of profits out of it.
Okay. Child labor rings a bell, and I'll tend to Rita for that. Both men and women are concerned about this, but when it comes to women, you're more concerned when it comes to child labor. How are you working in this direction to curb this issue of child labor on cocoa farms? Because I understand at a time will come, even areas where children are used as labor on the farms, the produce from such areas could not be attractive to the international market.
Oh, it's not. It has started already, and Ghana has worked so hard on that. I remember I was the national coordinator for child labor in the cocoa sector, and we did a whole lot of work. We were able to even develop what we call hazardous child labor activity framework, and that defines what constitutes hazardous labor in the cocoa sector and what is permissible for children to undertake in terms of cocoa production. So a whole lot of work has been done, but we need to deepen that. We need to deepen that. We need to scale up. We need to make sure that children are getting that information, parents are getting that information. How are we even disseminating the hazardous activity framework that we've developed? How are we using it to create awareness to say that, hey, we don't need to let our children go to the farm while school is in session? We need to let them understand that if we talk about child labor, we are not talking about labor, we are not talking about light work, for instance. We are talking about activities that can harm the children. We are talking about worst forms of child labor, which includes hazardous work, talking about circumstances under which the child performs that duty or that work, the work itself, the age of the child. We need to let them know that this is it. We are not saying that children should not go to the farm at all. Right. If you do that, then we are not producing cocoa sustainably. We need to let the children, get involved, but then we need to let them know that they can get involved to this level. We need to draw that line where they cannot be included in certain types of jobs. So child labor issue is a key issue. We have international, we have since 2001, there has been international agitation, and that has resulted in all these certification issues that are coming up. It started on child labor. Right. Okay, so from there, then they are talking about ways to curb that, and therefore, because they were not getting then they have to turn into certification, where they will make sure that at the end of the day, somebody can just verify to make sure that cocoa is not being produced with child labor, for instance. Right. So these are some of the things, and as a country and as a sector or industry, we need to really take these things on board. And so the cocoa platform has tentatively set about 4 thematic areas that we are going to work on. We are going to work on extension and productivity. We are going to work on crop financing and marketing and pricing. We are going to work on environmental issues and then social protection, which includes child labor. So these are areas that we are going to deepen our work, set action plans, make sure that we implement them to make sure that all these challenges are solved in the long term.
Right. I'll go to Vincent for in 30 seconds. Maybe you wrap up with your thoughts.
Yes, I would say that currently Ghana is producing about 1/4 of the total production of world cocoa. And it contributes a lot of very high percentage of agricultural GDP. If you interact with farmers at the community level, if you say cocoa, they respond Ghana. And so Ghana is cocoa. And it is a sector that we really have to secure. And it will be good for all stakeholders to continue to work together to make sure that farmers have the necessary knowledge, technology, and the necessary support to be able to sustain all these efforts of that particular sector. Mind you, it employs, I think, about 700 to 800,000 Ghanaians. So it is a very important sector to us. And assuming each of these households have about 5 people, then you're talking about 3.5 million Ghanaians.
Huge
that
numbers there.
is supporting. So it's a sector that government has to continue to provide a lot of support and all the necessary information farmers need to know to get to make sure they adopt the good practices to sustain the sector. We need to do that.
Right. We'll leave it here. Thank you very much for speaking to me on News at 10. My guests have been Vincent Frimpong Manu, who is with Solidaridad, and Program Manager Ghana Cocoa, and Rita Owusu-Amankwa, who is also National Coordinator Ghana Cocoa Platform. We have more ahead. Stay right there.